I have a theory. And my theory is that the reason why it's illegal to drink in public is about control. Control itself. And some people do it because it makes them feel good, and some people do it because it makes them feel powerful. But like the guy who rode by on his bike was saying, it's bougie as fuck out in this spot. Which I wouldn't disagree. It's pretty bougie out here. But the real question is, why is it a crime to drink in public? Whose rights are violated? It's not my rights that are violated, because it's my right to do so. I have the property right with my alcohol. I have the liberty right. I have the autonomy. I have the right of health, including to detriment my health. People forget that rights go both ways. Like, the right to life is also the right to decide to commit suicide. Right? Theoretically, it is. Although that's a more modern interpretation. The ancient, or the, not ancient, but the much older, unless you think the U.S. Constitution's ancient, which is not, but it's, you know, it's old. The ancient sort of virtue of the natural law theorists was that you couldn't remove your life because no one had the right to remove it except for God. And God wants you to live. Therefore, your right to life was sort of an eternal thing. And that jurists actually believe that the death penalty was wrong because of this natural law, which made your right to life an unalienable right, could not even be removed by government, no matter the circumstance. So that's argumentative, right? But we can get into the extreme theory about how natural law, natural rights, and natural justice work. We can just talk about the basic shit like the lowest of crimes: drinking in public, smoking in public, urinating in public without exposing yourself. Seriously. Those are the lowest possible crimes I can think of. Jaywalking. You know, jaywalking where you slightly obstruct traffic for a moment only, where it's not disorderly conduct, or at least it's not an attempted disorderly conduct. But look, that law itself is abused all the time. Disorderly conduct, right? Getting loud and rambunctious can be considered disorderly conduct if you want to define it that way, but it's not circulating a false report, right? It's not trying to raise an unreasonable alarm about something that's false. So, I mean, it really depends. And jurisdictionally, disorderly conduct is so vague of a term. It can mean minor felony, or it can mean a major misdemeanor. It all depends. Sometimes disorderly conduct is only a minor misdemeanor, or a moderate misdemeanor. Although I've never known it to be a civil infraction. But anyway, civil infraction of drinking in public. Let's think about that for a second. So the children. You can think of the children. Do you see any children out here? I want you to count the number of children. There could be children. Alright, but even if there could be children, in England, children are allowed to come into the bar with you. Even in the United States, depending on their age, and depending on the rules of the bar, a child can come in with you. They just can't drink. So, is a child seeing you drinking considered to be, like, bad behavior? Maybe. If they see you getting drunk all the time, it shows the child that you're drunk, and that that's acceptable. So I can see how that's wrong, right? But a child seeing you moderately drink, enjoying yourself but not going over the top, that could reinforce positive drinking behavior. Especially if you're not doing it alone, or at least if you're doing it alone, you're doing it in public. I think drinking in public is good for everyone involved. It's good for the person drinking because they're not isolated. They're able to interact with other people if they want. You don't have to go to the bar. You're able to save a little bit of money. Somebody took all of his everything. Exactly. He's right. Cost more to maintain. These are the real lives of people out here. There's a whole bunch going on. There's behind the scenes. I don't know his whole story. I barely heard it, but I had to repeat what he said because I needed to get out there because he's trying to make a statement that's valuable. But, like, for real, me drinking in public, okay, whose rights are violated? Not mine. This general entity of the public. Well, whose rights am I violating right here? I'm not violating anyone's rights right here. So, I'm not, causing a distress. I'm not being disorderly in my conduct. Right? I'm not raising an alarm. I'm not even shouting. If I wanted to, I could shout drinking in public shouldn't be a crime. What do you think? You're allowed to communicate. You have freedom of interaction and solicitation if, you're not violating someone else's property rights predominantly, or if someone says I do not want to speak, then you should leave them alone. It's respectful at minimum. Okay? But honestly, where's the disrespect to me drinking in public? Can anyone tell me? Because it doesn't exist. So, the real question comes down to, why should we obey every law? Why do people say law-abiding citizens have the right to bear arms? Okay, but what law? What is the virtue of that law? Where does that law stem from? Does it stem from promoting and protecting the right of the people? Or does that, not even a law, but a perversion of the very law, as Aquinas said, come from control? Like Thomas Jefferson said, that the law, he does not mention law because law is often but the will of a tyrant, not within the bounds of law. Let me look that up real fast. Jefferson says, law is often but a tyrant's will, and always so when it violates the rights of an individual. So we can argue I have property rights, I have consciousness rights, I have health rights, I have liberty rights. Okay? At minimum, conscience, right? Consciousness rights. And pursuit of happiness rights. Right? So, those are my rights, which can never be wrong, but these guys don't think that's true. Right? The pigs, right there. So, if you exercise those rights, you're at risk in this country. This supposedly is a free country, but it's not. You'll learn real quick. And I mean it. It's got to be the 8th cop I've seen in the last hour down here. It's fucking ridiculous. Well, what can you do? You could not pay your taxes, so you stop supporting them, you go to prison, right? You could hide away in your house or at the bar and not drink in public. But you're homeless, that's going to make it harder. I think that the law should always start at the baseline of homelessness is not a crime, and anything that you would have to do as homeless, therefore, is not a crime. Like, if you have the right to drink, if you're homeless and so you can't drink in public, then obviously you must be allowed to drink in public. Okay? If they want to make public order laws, that gets more iffy, like not being so intoxicated you cause an injury to others or yourself. Alright, or you'll get run over by a car. I could see there's some sort of public interest in promoting the right to life, so you not get hit by a car, not have your health damaged, and maybe a certain amount of intoxication in public is not allowed. Or actual intoxication where you're intoxicated by a substance. But if we're just talking about your basic rights to liberty and property and conscience and consciousness and even health, yeah, and pursuit of happiness, you should be allowed to drink in public, duh. Because where's the injury come from? Where's the violation of rights? There is none. I'm doing alright, I'm doing a video blog. Hope you have a good day. What's that? I'm doing a video blog. Yeah. So, guy down there, I know some of these people. I see them day to day. I talked to him a few years ago. He's alright. He's alright. There's some good men out here. Homeless, they're good men. They will never harm you. They'll never take advantage of you. Some of them are Christians. Some of them are atheists. And I see the good in all these people when they do the right. And some of them will never do you wrong. Okay? And that's where I'm at. But I could beat this dead horse all day. I could keep repeating myself. Plainly. Questioning the authority about it proves there's a reason they don't want your consciousness altered. But they'd rather have you drinking than smoking pot. And they'd rather have you smoking pot than taking magic mushrooms. And they'd rather have you taking magic mushrooms than taking LSD. And you know why? Because the level at which you're able to disassociate from this reality and find your true significance and your actual purpose and your position and your reason, what it means to you and why you're participating in this world, and what you attempt to do when you participate, well, it all comes plain to your view. Some of it might even unravel under scrutiny of your own mind against yourself when you have to finally not tear yourself down, but analyze what you are. If they keep it illegal to drink in public, it reduces the potential for people to have an intoxicated experience and potentially mind-opening experience with each other. Even if it's only passively, like me mentioning it while drunk. But the fact of the matter is, the system does not want you thinking for yourself. It wants you obeying the party line. It wants you obeying the gospel or of whatever church you subscribe to, no matter or not. It wants you following the status quo. It wants you to think small. It wants you to think in a paradigm it's been set up for you. So if you're an atheist, you can't possibly believe in psychic, right? Because that would be what? A fringe science that hasn't been fully provided in all of the evidence yet, and we don't have a complete theory of? Hello? So, point is, I'm again trying to really get at, if you can expand your mind, you are a threat to the state. Seriously. Never hold back when it comes to expanding your mind. Allow you to know. You might realize how small you are. That's okay. We're not supposed to be super giant gods. But we have a purpose. You have a purpose. I got a purpose. You make your own purpose. You find out what you're good at and you do that. If you believe in God, then God's a part of it. God's got a plan, a path, a guide your life. If you don't believe in God, then you might believe in something like purpose leads you to your own designed destiny. But in either case, we are going somewhere. All of us are. Even when we die, the world is going somewhere. Where do you want to go with it? Do you want to be free to think for yourself about it? Do you want to be free to act for yourself about it? Assuming you don't... Man, this guy, look at this, watch this. Look at all that shit he's carrying. Look at all that shit. Don't hate on the homeless. This man is resourceful. Okay? He's willing to do what it takes. He's a strong old man. Don't hate on him. The same guy walked by when I was talking. Respect. I wouldn't do it. I would choose a different way than that. But he is to be respected because he stands by what he does. He carries his shit with him. He does what he has to do with it. He doesn't gripe. He doesn't bitch. He just does it. But you know, I'm not always like this because I did find that alcohol reduces your inhibitions. This video would not exist without violating the law. Did you know that? Do I need to share a little secret with you? Ask yourself, if you walk down by the river in a public park like we got, in that direction, you walk down to the river, and you drink on the grass. And as you're drinking on the grass, you come to a profound realization. The meaning of your life is to help others. It's not to help yourself only. Because then, where would be the meaning? Self-service? You live in a world of other people. It doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself all the time for them. But to be willing to sacrifice for the right thing. Would I die only for the right to drink in public? No. But would I die for all of your rights? To promote, protect, to defend, secure? You better believe it. I've already done it for myself. And I'm willing to do it for all of you. But the real question is not necessarily would you do it for me, but would you do it for others? Because I don't need you to mutually recognize me. I need you to see mankind eye to eye. Can you do that? I hope you can. Because we're coming to a reckoning. quickening, it's thickening. And soon, many people will shrink away from their true natural obligation and responsibility. Their duty, as it might be called, to fight back. Because it's been put off for a long time. But the time is coming soon. By 2028, that's my estimate. The next presidential election, then you'll know. Let's just say I don't believe either a conservative or a liberal in office is going to help it. Or maybe a liberal but not a Democrat. A libertarian might help. I'm not going to keep faith in the two-party system just because my team won. If that's how we did things in this country right now, wouldn't we? Faith in the two-party system. A failure. Who do they represent? Themselves. It's easy to know we're not in a democracy and we're not in a republic. And do you know why? Because our leaders do not follow the Constitution. First off, they don't ask for a majority vote before they make a choice. And they don't consult with their constituents before they make a choice. They're neither Democrat nor Republican. They neither act democratically nor in a republicanistic fashion, where they make the best choice for the people even if the people don't know their own good, but they consult with the people. What we have are called parties. It's bullshit. And when you have parties ruling, you end up with really the same goal, but two different sides of how to achieve it. As long as they can reduce freedom and reduce public cohesion with each other. Is this more cops today? I wouldn't doubt it's more cops today on a Monday. Because we just can't get no peace in this town, apparently. If it's a cop, I'm going to be pissed. It's an ambulance. Thankfully. But our lives only mean as much as we're willing to allow them. And if you're not allowed to do you, if you're not allowed to be who you are without needing to hold back, if you're not able to just be yourself, do what you do, without being molested, without being harassed, then you're not free, are you? Because even if the cops weren't harassing us, but people were, we wouldn't really be free. We'd be constantly reprimanded for what we're doing. But it'd be better than having the state get in our way, because I can fight back against the government. There's a whole bunch of people who are trying to oppress us. We're supposed to have government to protect us from that oppression, but when the government is the very oppression itself at which we fight, and the common people are not at ends but agree that the government is the enemy, what do you think needs to happen? Because in 1776, we didn't take that shit lightly. The government's done a whole lot. Trail of Tears, Waco. That's just getting started. You can go down the rabbit hole if you want. 9/11. Need I say more? Bundy Ranch. Oh, yes, way. It's fucked. It's fucked up. That's what it is. That's what's up. So, I guess you could say this is a warning. They've still got cops creeping around out here. How many fucking pigs have I seen in the last hour? I've seen like 15 fucking pigs. Because they've been zooming around. There's been at least like 4 or 5 that have fucking cruised down the spot. There were cops driving by fast over there. There were cops driving by fast over there. There's been 4 or 5 up and down this fucking street. It's ridiculous. If I drink in public, what happens? I get a ticket. And I got to pay $650 that I don't have, or $100, whatever the court decides it to be. All because I was expressing my liberty and exercising my rights. I'm not happy. I'm not amused. I'm not entertained. I'm fucking pissed. I'm being force injected with antipsychotics. I don't even feel like my real self anymore, but I'm trying. I'm sad about the situation. It's not good. I can't do anything about it except write my book and post on the internet. And that's kind of all they want you to be able to do. You can write your memoir after you've been destroyed by government. You'll never get $1 for it. You'll never get away with it. You have to have done nothing wrong to be fucked the most. If you obey the system, they love you. They won't ever fight you because you keep them in power. But if you drink in public and you start yelling about the system wants you to obey, and that's the problem, is obedience when they want control, and you start speaking the truth, what's going to happen? You're going to draw attention. Then someone's going to call the cops, saying he's being disorderly, he's being rowdy, because he's getting out of line. Because he already wouldn't follow the law about not drinking in public. Now he's starting to be disorderly. Because if you speak out against injustice, expect more to follow you. Serious. I got gunshot over this shit. I know about it. And when you stand up for your rights, expect them to be oppressed even more. Why? Because who's going to defend your rights except for you? Your attorney? The one pressuring you into a plea deal? Huh? The one saying just take the charge instead of trying to fight it on the grounds of a superior argument? Because you'll never win that way? Where you have to plead your innocence and still accept the charge? Because that's your only real choice? It's a sad state of affairs. It's a dishonor to be American in these current, present tyrannical states. Fallen. I know. You can ask me. I'll tell you on video. I was shot in my house for standing up for what's right. They call it disorderly conduct, which I never raised a false alarm. That was a pretense to disobey the Constitution and try to murder me. A noise complaint, they called it. You've heard it before. How long will you wait? How long? Because I am sick of waiting for you to show up for me. I'd show up for you if you let me know where to go. This is Eugene, Oregon. See this? That's the white church over there. It's called the First Christian Church. There's Viva Vegetarian Grill. That's the Viva Vegetarian Grill. Right down there is the Chase Bank. This is Willamette Street. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. So if you want to find me, you know where I am. But I'm not mad at you for not fighting back yet, because all they would do is destroy you. And it would mean nothing. They would destroy your name. Everything you stood for would be debased. But if 1 million or 10 million of us stand up together, I think you'll like the results. You're going to like the way it looks in the public eye, I guarantee it. Oh, yeah. And just in case you were worried that I wouldn't fight back, you know why I left my knife at home today? Because I had to go into probation. Do you know why I went into probation? Because I took all the cops in my own house. Because I ain't no coward boy, I ain't no bitch neither. I'll do it alone if I have to. I will stand up for what's right. When I'm the only one who knows the truth, I might even survive to tell you later. But, hey, I'm just a man who was sitting on a bench. And I'm sitting on a bench now. Just a man Do you want to be a legend with me? It's not about drinking in public now, is it? It's about the principle. Do you know what it means to be a sovereign, to be a ruler? Are you self-governing? Do you have rights? And are they absolute and self-regulating? Look it up if you don't know. And once you know, then you know, nigga. And I reserve my right to speech, to have my opinions and my viewpoints the way I want them to be. But like I was saying earlier, nothing better than living on the West Coast, where I can feel at home talking to a black man without needing to worry about the cultural differences. Because we're both American human beings. And we believe in the human being and not the machine. So I'll leave you there. Okay? Because I know if I do too much, I could put myself in a position. But I'll let you know just enough. I'm only 50% scared of the system. The other half of me says I'll do anything to destroy it.